Hello, welcome to Lesson 3, Simple Functions in Excel. Go into Problem 3 of your worksheet tabs. You should have now Problem 1, Problem 2, and Problem 3. If you don't, click on this plus arrow to add a tab, and then double-click on this title line within the tab and label it Problem 3. So now we're going to learn basic functions. So as you already know from Lesson 1, you can click on this function bar and ask it to do what you want it to do. It's better to know your own functions, so I'm going to teach you some basics today about using functions. So the first thing is this. If you are just typing a word like we did before, like spring or something like that, you just type the word in and there's nothing more to it, and you can see the word up here and the word here. If you want Excel to do some math for you, you start with an equal sign. And anytime you put that equal sign in, you're telling Excel, I need you to do some math now. And so from here, we can work with any number of formulas. So the first thing we'll work with is just simple addition. Let's just do a simple addition problem equals 4 plus 6. Now you'll see there's a difference. When we click in the cell, we see the solution. And when we click in the formula bar, we see the formula. And so if you ever may think you may have made a mistake, you click up here in the formula bar, you'll see your formula. To get off of it, click enter. Don't click on another cell. If you click in another cell, sometimes you get a messy situation depending on it, where you're working with it. So now we've done 4 plus 6 that way. Let's do it another way. Let's type in equals, and let's put the word sum, parenthesis, 4 comma 6. And enter. And we see we still get 10. And here we see our formula, but this time we use the sum function. And so this will be easier for certain things, as you can see, when we get to certain characteristics. So let's go down and just create a few sums. So let's type in, let's do the problem summing up 17, 15, and 23. We'll do it both ways. Equals 17 plus 15 plus 23. One way to do it. And let's try the sum, which is what you'll be working with more often, equals sum 15, 17, 23. Enter. And now we have that formula. And we do also have the sum symbol up here. We'll learn a little later. This is the same as our sum symbol. And so you can see here, if you click on that, actually, I'm going to just backtrack from that because I don't want to show you that just quite yet. So that's a basic addition function. And so I think what I'm going to write here is addition, because that's what you learned in this row. And there's really nothing more than that. But we are going to look at a couple of examples just to remind you of some of the things you knew earlier. So let's get the sum of -2. We're going to add -6. And maybe you're still remembering that when you add two negatives, you get a negative number that's greater. It's like you add them both together, and then you're going down into the negative extreme. It's just like adding 2 plus 6, except on the other side of 0. And let's do another one using our sum function this time. Let's add, I put the equal sign first, and let's add -2 and 6. I'm going to use my sum function. And you can see by the function that we just did that, of course, when you add a negative to a positive, you end up just subtracting the negative from the positive is essentially what you're doing. So just a little reminder on that. Let's move on now. And subtraction works just the same way, but we don't have a subtract function the way we do with the addition. And so let's type subtraction here. And let's just do some simple numbers. Let's see if it works first. We'll type our equal sign, and we'll type 12 minus 8. And you can see that it works. And so that's all that is just looking for your minus sign. It is, where is the minus sign? It's up on the key to the right of the 0. So that's all we need for subtraction. Let's look at multiplication. So multiplication uses the asterisk, the uppercase of the number 8 for multiplication. So let's do equals 4 times 3. And we can see we get 12. And that is the function, that is how we work multiplication. But there are some things that you should begin to know about when we start getting into more complex operations. And that is a reminder that you might not have had for a while of your order of operations. And what this means is, if you know all this already, this will be a little review for you, is that when there's a problem with many steps, with, like, say it has multiplication, maybe some division, maybe a square or something like that, when we do math, need to take a certain approach. And the first thing we do is we go through the whole problem and we take care of all the squares. Then we go through number 2, and we take care of any multiplication and division in order. So that is, we do, if multiplication comes before division, then we do the multiplication first. If the division comes first, we do that first. And then 3, any addition and subtraction in order. So the reason this is important is because one thing overrides all of this, and it is parentheses. So whatever is in parentheses comes first. So even before the squares and all that sort of thing. And so you'll see that you can make mathematical mistakes by not doing parentheses. So let's take this problem. Let's take the problem 5. Shoot.